Hey guys, this is Red and Blue, the channel on YouTube for all things PSG in English. Please subscribe. Today, let's not talk about football, let's talk about basketball for a change. Because the news came out today that the NBA has been fast forwarding on conversations to open a NBA league in Europe and has entered negotiation with both PSG and Real Madrid to have both of them join into this NBA Europe League. And that could be happening very soon because the league is slated to start for the 2026-27 season, so a year from now. Why is it big news? What does it mean for PSG? What will happen next? Let me take you through the details and explain everything about this thing. First, I'll start by saying that there's been long-standing relationship and conversation between the NBA and Europe and Paris in particular. The NBA has been for a while now trying to live up to the fact that they crowned their winning team world champion, quote unquote. And yeah, trying to expand into different geos and different areas, both from a business purpose, like from a sporting perspective as well. And so I think we've seen this in Europe, specifically with them. Back in the days, they would send teams on an exhibition game or friendlies over their holiday. And I remember seeing Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls coming to Paris in the 90s, for example, to do this sort of thing. Most recently, they've started organizing regular season games in Europe. And we've seen this in a few places, and we've seen this in Paris as recently as earlier this year, where we had a couple of games in Paris with the Spurs versus Pacers coming into the Accor Arena, which included Wembyama, so it was actually like pretty big news in Paris. And they actually just recently announced their schedule for the next few years. So in 2026, they will have regular season games in Berlin and London, 2027, Paris and Manchester, and then 2028, Paris and Berlin. So Paris is definitely on the map and definitely a market that for the NBA is they've been trying to get into and really like create business for. Not so surprising, actually. Basketball is big deal in Paris. It's not the number one sport by any means, but it's still like it's got a very decent following and a lot of player. Plus, it's got that youth street culture as well, which ties in really well with basketball. And so it's a very natural fit, actually. And actually in Paris, like that's the thing as well. Like there's been basketball going on in the capital for a long time. Right now, the current iteration of the team is Paris Basketball, which is a team it's pretty recent. They were founded in 2018 by former NBA GM David Kahn, who I think was coming from the Minnesota Timberwolves. So he started the team in 2018. They got into the French top division, Pro A, in 21. They won the Euro Cup in 2024, which got them into the EuroLeague, which is that top tier of European basketball, and essentially what the NBA Europe would be trying to emulate or replace. And so yeah, progressively they've really been getting into things. Before that, it's interesting because there's been quite a few occasions and quite a few times in history where the basketball and PSG conversation seemed to be on the verge of happening, and Paris Saint-Germain would be on the verge of having its own basketball team, and then like the timing never quite finalized. It never really landed exactly as it should. And so PSG, that does have this culture of having teams in different sports and different categories, never really jumped the gun with basketball. When, in handball, we've got a very good team. In judo, we've got a very good section. With QSI, we even started playing into esports. So PSG does have this more like Southern European, I guess, way of really like looking at itself as a multi-sport club. So basketball, it's interesting. It's been, like I said, long-standing, and I think since QSI arrived as well, there's been a few things which really strengthen the relationship and the interest between PSG and basketball. The first thing was the partnership with the Jordan Brand, which we started in 2018. We were the first football club ever to partner with Jordan, which is a subsidiary of Nike. So that's how we got in. And they essentially they became one of our jersey sponsors. And so we've seen like a Jordan jersey with a Jumpman logo, typically on our Champions League jerseys from 2018 onwards. But it's also been something where we've been able to create a whole line of product, apparel and footwear, which cover performance, so jerseys and everything, training, and also lifestyle lines. And I think that's where it's been very interesting for us, because it's been able to give the club a lot of visibility and credibility in terms of sportswear. And in terms of sportswear outside of France. So obviously, like, being able to partner with the Jordan brand in the US for youth audiences over there makes us massively relevant and really helped us accelerate our development and gain a lot of visibility over there. Even around the world and beyond the US in general, I think there's a lot of places where the Jordan brand was initially more well-known than PSG. And so we gained a lot from that partnership. And I think the original deal, which was about 260-70 million over 4 years, typically something that benefited a lot more than just the money. So much so, actually, that in April of this year, PSG extended the partnership through at least 2027 with exclusive kit drops and special collections plan. And it's actually interesting because you see Nike look at its sub brands as different opportunities come up, and we've seen this year like the Barcelona jersey is actually under the Kobe brand. So they are looking at how they can link up the different assets and help elevate football teams and their different basketball brands as well. And I think for us, like the bridge between PSG football versus Jordan basketball, lifestyle, Europe, North America, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that were into these partnerships that were hugely valuable on both sides. And I think looking at PSG's links with basketball as well, there's one last thing that happened recently, is that NBA superstar Kevin Durant recently became a minority shareholder of PSG. So he actually invested in QSI. And yeah, it's not a big investment. I think he only has like around 1% or so of the club. So it's more symbolic than anything. But if you put this in the context of the NBA having conversation with QSI already and a conversation bubbling in terms of creating an NBA Europe league and then a franchise in Paris, I think having Kevin Durant be part of our shareholders, one, it gives us a lot of credibility. Two, it opens a lot of doors and gives us a lot of contacts that we would need. And three, it's a wealth of experience and knowledge of the basketball scene that's firmly in our camp and that would help us, in the context of forming a franchise or putting something together for the NBA Europe, helping us. Is it needed? Who's needed? What's the cadence? What's the priority? And so on and so forth. And really help us, give us a lot of credibility from the get-go. That like we wouldn't only be building a new franchise for a new league, we'd be building a top franchise for a top league. And that's really, going straight into the next level, which is great and exactly what PSG aims to do in general. So what's next? It's, things will need to happen fast. Like I said, like the aim is to start the league in 1 year, so that this doesn't leave a lot of time. The main question at this point for PSG is really in terms of structure. And, do we create something from scratch under the PSG brand? Or do we find some sort of ways of working with PSG basketball, either acquiring that team outright, or just, finding a partnership with them, a joint venture or whatever it might be to work together. The advantage that they have is that they do have exclusive access to real estate in Paris. So both the Accor Arena and the Adidas Arena are both exclusively tied to Paris basketball. And so for us, there would be a big question mark in terms of, if we create something from scratch, where would we play? In the long term, the club hopes to create something within the realm of the new PSG stadium. But in the short term, we don't really have any place to put a basketball team. And obviously, building a stadium from scratch would take way more than 1 year. So that is a big consideration and something that we'll need to take into account. on top of obviously having to build a full team of players, of coaches, of supporting staff, and so on and so forth, a full history to it. So I could very well see the two clubs kind of tying together and finding a way of working together. We'll have to see. Like I said, we only have a year to put all of this together, supposedly. So things should be happening pretty fast. And I think for me, like, I think it's a great move. Obviously, like the NBA is as big a sports brand as you're gonna get, and putting it next to PSG makes all the sense of the world. Especially since, like, in this case, there is actually like a real basketball fandom in Paris, a real basis of people who play basketball, who follow basketball, are interested in basketball. And so serving into this locally makes all the sense in the world. It's not just us, like being a big global sports brand and doing things just because on a global basis it makes sense. There is a local element to it, which is very, very coherent. And I think, PSG, we do have that history of being a multi-sport team. We do have handball, we do have judo, we do have other things, like I said. And so, adding the second biggest sport in France to that mix makes perfect sense to me. Honestly, makes perfect sense to me. And, if it comes with the benefit of being part of a big league where we can actually get some decent visibility out of it and challenge for the top straight away, then, like, yeah, it feels like something we should be doing. So anyway, we'll see how those things goes. Like I said, things should be happening pretty fast, so we'll definitely keep you posted. Let me know in the comment of this video what you think about this. Do you think it's a space that PSG should be getting into? Or are we better off like just staying out of it, focusing on what we've got already, or mostly on football? And in any case, please like this video, please subscribe to the channel, really helps massively, and I do really appreciate that, guys. Every subscribe, I really I'm thankful for it. So do subscribe, hit the bell to get notified, and come back here to get your daily fix of PSG news. 99% football, don't worry, that's not going anywhere. 99% football, but apparently now basketball as well, so we'll keep an eye on this. And don't forget, basketball or football in any case, ici c'est Paris!